Alright, so this is how I set up all my tool offsets as well as the height offset for a tool setter and the probe. First step is to take any tool out of the spindle and get the spindle nose right here, because this is the reference area for all the tools. Get that nice and clean. Looks like I need to get some more replacement LED ring. Once you have that all cleaned up, I jog down to the table and I set Mach 3 to tool 0, which just has a 0 length in my tool table. You can set it to anything that has a 0 length tool. And then I find the distance off of the table after the table's been cleaned to the spindle nose. So you can do that a couple different ways. I'm just gonna drop it all the way down until I can get it close enough to use a feeler gauge. And then I'll use these feeler gauges to figure out what that distance is between the tabletop and the bottom of the spindle. This way all tool references are made inside the machine, and you don't have to ever rely on the height setting gauges and the calipers and the surface block that Tormach sells. Everything's going to be done within the machine, so I'm going to... Looks like we're still pretty far. I'm going to get this a little closer. Okay, so I've jogged the spindle down to the point where the 30 thousandths feeler gauge, which is the tallest one I have, doesn't fit under there. So now we have to just figure out how far the spindle is from the table. And that is 26 thousandths, and it fit under there just fine. So here's 28, and still fits under there. Oh, I'm sorry. The first one was 35, and that didn't fit. So this is 32. That barely fits. I'm going to jog it down. $25 doesn't fit. $22 doesn't fit. $19 doesn't fit. It's close. I can feel it starting to go in. That's 13. It's a little closer. 12. Alright, there you go. That passes all the way through freely. Just a little bit of friction. And that is 11 thousandths. Let's check 12. 12 does not fit. So now we know that the table is 11 thousandths below the spindle. So with tool 0 set on Mach, and you can see the Z offset is set to 0. We're going to set the Z to 0.012. 2. No, we're going to set it to 0.011, 11 thousandths of an inch. And actually what I'm going to do is change this to G59 P99. You can see the change up there. And what I do is I leave G59 P99 as my table offset, and since all my axes are referenced, theoretically I could come back and always find the tabletop. If I break a tool in some kind of odd setup, I can always just put the tool setter on the table, switch to this G59 P99 offset, and refine the tool length. So we're going to have to re-zero it again. So 0.011 for Z, and we're at tool 0, offset is 0, and the Z is 0.011. So now we know that. We can set the probe next. So just got to jog up and put the probe in place. So since Tormach or Mach 3 now knows how far it is from the spindle nose to the table, it can also find the length of this tool, which is tool 99 in Mach 3. So if we change to tool 99, come down to Z probe, we're just going to jog it to the table. Pretty close there. And all you have to do is click. We got a feed rate of 10 inches per minute. That's fine. So you just got to click, make sure you have tool 99 set, and click move and set tool length. And now it knows how long the tool is. And I'll come back and get the probe, or the tool setter. Alright, here we're all set up to set the length of the tool setter. All I did was remove the probe from the spindle, and again we're going to use the spindle nose. I checked to make sure it was still clean, there wasn't any chips on it. We're going to use the spindle nose to set the length of the tool setter. It's sitting on the table, which the machine knows where the table's at, because we're still in that same offset. And all we have to do is put the spindle over the touchpad. Set the tool to 0 again, because we don't have a tool in there. And set sensor height. Now I've already done this. The probe definitely did change because I had to replace the tip. But we're going to see how much of a change there is between the last time I set this up. So it was 2.6531 last time I measured it. And set up sensor height. You can see it changed quite a bit there. But that's all you have to do.